Hi, good morning. Welcome to the BizTech Pulse podcast. On today's episode, we are excited to welcome Vineet Moroney, a trusted leader, advisor, a strategist, and a transformational expert. Vineet helps enterprise and their team navigate the complexity of SAP ERP projects with clarity and measurable impact. Currently serving as advisor, he leads AI initiatives crafting scalable solutions that integrate AI into core business functions. His passion lies in leveraging AI, Gen AI, and data driven strategy to deliver real business value. Vineet brings a rare combination of ERP expertise, a strategic insight, and forward looking vision to the conversation. And today we will explore how organizations, especially mid level enterprise, can unlock the power of SAP and AI to drive transformation and growth. Welcome to the podcast, Vineet. Just wanted to have your initial intro. If you can talk about yourself.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you for having me here. My name is Vineet Moroney. I was responsible for enterprise apps practice at a big conglomerate, but now I am advising customers on implementing their AI strategies, how AI can be leveraged in the processes and transforming their organization. That's my core job as of now. And being having a background in ERPs, I always look at how we can make ERPs more and more, I would say, intelligent and more thinking systems rather than static systems.
Awesome. That's in tune with the trend currently. Let's start with my first question. I think you have spanned enterprise apps and now deep AI work. What inflection point convinced you that the next decade ERP would be AI led? Looking back at waves like IoT, RPA, and blockchain, what made them stand out in the enterprise compared to AI current momentum?
So, Hari, I would say that the real turning point was for me not a lab demo, it was a customer pain point. One of my leading French customer invited 14 partners to pitch innovation because post COVID, their supply chain was broken. And the biggest frustration was they could not promise accurate delivery dates. The ERP had all the data, orders, supplies, capacities, but it was stuck in fixed static rules. It could not execute based on the patterns which they have seen. It was just executing based on the rules. And I found that there is opportunity. Why are the enterprise system just execution engine when they could be thinking systems? And that's why I thought that this could be great opportunity to embed intelligence in the execution system. And that was the inflection point for me.
That's a great pivot, and I understand. I think as far as the real-time reasoning of the ERP is concerned, definitely, I think that's a way to go. That leads us to the next one. You said ERP are still largely rule-based systems, right? What are the biggest business gaps this creates? In practical terms, what does it take to make ERP pattern aware?
So the first thing is that ERPs like SAP sit on enormous amount of structured data. But the gap is the data is not being used to derive pattern or to make business processes predictive. The system is still locked into static predefined rules. That's the biggest gap I see. What we really need is that to analyze this structured data with strong AI model, extract inferences, and then feed those into system as dynamic rules. That's how ERP should move from being passive recorder systems to intelligent systems and drive agility for the business. In simple term, it should analyze the data, create inferences, apply those dynamic rules, and make sure that the business is more agile, more predictable.
Today, that structure is not there in the core ERP, right? To do that. That's where coming to the next one. If a company has a legacy SAP, what's your three-phase path to AI native SAP? Where should leaders expect earlier wins?
So the three phases, in my opinion, is first is the data foundation. Data in ERP needs to be harmonized, whether it is master data or it is a customer data, and so on and so forth. The second is to connect to external signals. Right now, ERPs are not connecting to the external signals which are there. So first, building a data foundation. Second, after building that data foundation, embedding the intelligence on that. So applying the model, understanding the pattern, understanding behavior, and after that creating autonomous loop, what I called as, which we called as a agent. So basically looking at this pattern, then look at your data and where are the adjustment you need to do. And the early wins could be, let's cash application, right? You can predict your cash applications. You can predict our project cash flows or cash flows very easily. You know the pattern that this type of customer don't pay on time. This type of project you don't get payment on time. So those patterns are there in systems. We need to sense those patterns, apply the intelligence on that, and embed that intelligence in our process. That's how I think we can make legacy SAP to AI native SAP.
It's a very good point. I think. If you see a few startups on the fintech area are doing exactly the same thing. They are pulling the ERP data, running their AI ML intelligence on that, and also getting external data like credit scores or the business news which comes in.
Absolutely.
Basically then process this information and give it back to the user, to the same ERP user, saying that, hey, this is what is happening with this user. So the probability of payment is maybe 50%. Earlier you thought it is 80%, it is 50%. So the risk portfolio comes into picture. Coming back, I think with the AI wave which is happening, the other important topic is on the software development area, enterprise software development. Vibe coding. I mean, I know you had written a very nice white paper on that. A lot of good information, good research has gone into this. I wanted to talk about it. You are arguing coding isn't a job, code architecture is. What becomes a core skill set? What is vibe coding? If agile alone won't cut it, what replaces it?
Absolutely. So vibe coding is nothing but you need to set the intent, give the context, and AI will generate the code for you and orchestrate for you. The danger is invisible tech debt. No, if the architecture is ignored or guardrails are not being used or reuse function is not happening, so it can generate that. So in the AI assisted development, code quality equals to prompt quality. If your prompts are inconsistent, then your code quality will be inconsistent, and that will not be as per the architecture guidelines and so on and so forth. So that makes the role of code architect pivotal, because the role is designed to architect, reuse, and enforce governance on the prompt based engineering, AI based assisted tool. So in short, that if we do not have this role, probably we will create a system which will have a lot of technical depth with lesser reusability and very difficult to debug, because now the code is generated by AI. So from the delivery perspective, agile still will work, but the processes now need to be moved towards AI augmented delivery. So basically, if you look at, there are no new roles which I am talking about: a solution architect, code architect. Similarly, you need to have AI plus human review gateways in some of those things to make sure that the things are evolved properly. So basically, you need to adjust your process to new methodology. And that's what I believe, that if we have to deliver successful vibe coding, it's all about orchestrating all these things together: the role, the prompts, and the quality of the prompts that will make your code or your product much sustainable than what you are developing just with prompting without thinking.
I'm thinking, does it have an impact on the development time of a particular project than what it was earlier and what it is going to be now because of this?
Absolutely. There is research which says that development time can be 30 to 40% reduced. But if you look at the tools which are there today, are code bias tool. Now, whichever tool you launch, it is code bias tool. SDLC is not coding. Coding is just 25 to 30%, right? Now, the first thing comes the requirement. Whether the requirement is consistent or not, that requirement needs to be groomed properly so that the features are properly developed or not. So, in my opinion, AI should be applied to the entire SDLC life cycle, not only coding. Whereas I see that most of the time we talk about coding, which is a 30% job, and 70% job, we are not talking about what sort of thing we need to do. So I believe the right requirement will generate right code because there are right prompts being developed. So that's where I think the focus should be entire SDLC life cycle, And if you look at entire SDLC life cycle, there is a 30 to 40% reduction in cost, as well as research says that 33 to 44% reduction in the time to market.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And also, I think that comes to the next question. Where can 90 to 95% automation realistically happen today? What must stay human in the loop? How do you design controls on the AI area?
So human in the loop is going to be important gateway, because AI plus human will deliver miracles. If you just trust on AI, it will not. So human reviews are important. So everywhere, if you look at SDLC life cycle also, if the AI can do requirement grooming, somebody needs to look at saying that requirement is now properly defined and say that yes, the human puts in approval for that. The SDLC life cycle, somebody create the technical document. The technical document needs to be reviewed by another human or another AI agent. Then when the prompt is created by the tool or the code is created by the tool, there should be peer review, which is done by either by agent or human in a loop. So unless there is a human in a loop, there is a possibility that we will deliver a code which may not be in sync with the architecture which we want to guide through, and it will not be in line with the technical documentation which I want to create, and I want to align the code to that technical architecture. So that's where I believe that human in the loop is going to be important. I call it as a digital twin. There is a agent and there is a human. So we are not eliminating human role, but we are enhancing human's role by providing the right agents.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Coming back, I think this is again, I know there is a news in the industry that all the technology companies, Microsoft, Facebook, Meta, they're all, I mean, laying a lot of developers off. Either they are overhired or they feel they are the first taking advantage of this AI platform in development and stuff like that. Maybe they are doing that pretty faster than any other industry. So there is a fear among even all the developers or the computer science graduates now whether they will get a job or not. So can you address that?
Absolutely. I think if you look at the trend, the person or the job is getting eliminated, but that job is getting recreated with a human plus AI. So the person who doesn't know AI will get eliminated, but the job gets created, which is human plus AI. When I talked about coders are getting eliminated, code architects are the roles are getting created in the system. So for the new software engineers, I think what they need to do is that they need to adopt this new view, make sure that they are fluent in the AI tools being used. You don't have to innovate, but you have to use these tools very effectively in your operations and the day-to-day work. And that's what will make their job much simpler and much better than the person who doesn't use AI.
Absolutely. I'm with you there. The next question is this is towards SAP Joule and BTP and the model layer. How should customer think about SAP Joule plus BTP when most frontier models live outside the ERP?
No, this is good question. I'm first of all big believer of invisible AI, visible result. What I say is that AI is often mistaken as a chatbot, because the avatar of AI was a chatbot. So everybody said that if I have to showcase I have got AI capability, I need to create a chatbot or a co-pilot. And Joule is a co-pilot, right? And Joule is a co-pilot for developers, consultant, and business. It's a good start, but it's not embedding into the core processes. So if you create that, the co-pilot, which will help developers, maybe consultant, but the business users or businesses, the intelligence needs to be embedded into the processes. And that's where I think everybody needs to look at that. So SAP also use these all those models which are developed by OpenAI and others. So it's not that they are not using it. They are using it. The only thing is that Joule isn't a still open system, right? When I called as open system connectivity, there is a agent to agent collaboration which can happen, which is not there in Joule. I think over a period, I think SAP is now getting there. They will have this capability that agent to agent collaboration will happen. A deeper intelligence into supply chain or procurement is still awaited. So I see potential in SAP, because SAP has got such a humongous data and insight. SAP will move over a period from a co-pilot to agentic supply chain or agentic procurement. and moving from assistant to autonomous solutions. And that's what I believe SAP will do over a period. So framework would be Joule would be AI native copilot. BTP will be the extensibility layer, and the frontier models or open source model they will consume to create the solutions which will be AI native solutions. That's what I believe as of now.
No, no, I agree. I agree there because I think I have seen a few on the agentic AI side, a few smaller firms, startups who are focusing, as you said, on the supply chain, on the financial transformation, and they go much deeper. They go much deeper, and they are more aligned with the process. That's where I think I feel maybe SAP will do a couple of acquisitions. I mean, that way I think they can speed up the whole process. Coming to the next question, this is more for a mid-market manufacturers, 300 million to 2 billion, with a lean team. What OpenStack source what open source stack and cloud choices let them prototype faster without overspending? What's your 90-day pilot blueprint look like?
Okay. So mid-market firms, first of all, they can't invest in massive models and not also in big data science teams, right? No, because no, if they invest in massive model, big data science team, the use case or the ROI cannot be even met. So the best case strategy would be that don't try to build everything. Look at the innovations which are happening in the ecosystem. Partner with the innovators rather than doing everything yourself. So if your strength is, let's say your strength is in particular area, look at that area, look at the partner and innovation happening in that area, partner with that, and then use those models or those innovations on your data. So basically you bring AI on your data rather than building yourself AI from the scratch.
Makes sense.
The focus should be that those 20% problem which will have 80% business impact. If these 20% problem needs to be addressed, we should address those 20% problem. We should not address the peripheral issues because AI is good to have. I have got AI type of thing we should not have. So if somebody wants to develop on their own, because no, I did that earlier, then there are lightweight LLMs like Mistral. And now Mistral is saying that they will make it free for everybody. Then there are vector databases and then orchestration layer like LangChain or N8N, which can be used. From the 90 days pilot, I would say that pick the use case which is going to be impactful. Don't pick something which is not going to be impactful. Prepare on small set of data set, fine tune with the partner, measure ROI. If you look at this strategy, you will able to get the ROI and you will get able to get the adoption of AI in your organization. So don't look at the technical nuances, which model, which database, and so on and so forth. Look at the business problem. Look at what is the innovation happening there. Partner with the innovator. Use your data, fine tune the things, and then create a prototype. And it should be like POC to pilot in 90 days. We should able to get the result in 90 days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very good model to follow, especially for the mid-level customers. Coming to the next, can you share a playbook or a before and after story, given your experience?
So let me go back where I started, right? One of my customer came back to us after COVID. Their supply chain is broken. And because their supply chain was broken, they were not able to predict the delivery date to their customer, and that created a lot of restlessness in their customer. Every time they were changing the date. They came to the 14 partners, and then we said that no, we can look at the problem and we can try to find out in two ways. So first thing is back to basics. So SAP has got so many rules. We looked at all the rules and said whether these rules can be made little dynamic. That's where we looked at the for example, inventory buffer stock, looked at the reorder point, looked at the lead time of a particular vendor. And looking at the pattern, we could say that no, these are the things which needs to be critically addressed in the system. So that's where we said, looked at the data and said that no, let's clean up the master data using the latest pattern which we are evolving from the data. But that's just optimizing your current state of supply chain. What is important is not optimizing but forecasting in future. If you want to rebalance your supply chain, what insights you have got? So then we looked at AI. So one is fixing the basic, and then we looked at the AI which will bring the insights and say that if you want to rebalance your supply chain, you need to transition from this supplier to this supplier for these items. You need to do a vendor development activity for these items. So basically, my playbook is simple. First is focus on back to basics, embed AI inside your process, not just on the top. And that's what helped the customer. I think out of the 14 partners, they awarded us the contract and we helped them in improving the predictability date. Earlier, the ATP available to promise adherence was about 80%, which we took to about 92% by
Wow.
implementing these insights.
It's amazing, amazing. Great story. I think that's definitely. Is there something you can create a model out of this? For example, on the supply chain, I think whatever additional data or you captured, historical data. I'm just thinking here how to create that into a small product for others in the marketplace as well.
Absolutely, I think this is a doable. I think there is a lot of data sitting in SAP. The only thing is that we need to look at the pattern and we need to relate those pattern and we need to know how the SAP work, right? Know what sort of ways we need to tune the SAP, like no lead time for vendor, or let's say reorder point, and so on and so forth. So we can look at this and we can create a dynamic model which we can run every weekly and fine tune these parameters based on the findings and make sure that we can make the process, supply chain process, more agile, more predictive, and making sure that no, we don't overstock inventory, but you adjust the process based on the patterns. Now, the third thing is getting outside signals is also possible, right? With Gen AI, so many market fits are there. You can get those outside signals and then embed that outside signals into that and create, I would say that create a solution which will embed the outside signal, use the internal data and create a harmonious solution. By the way, we developed this and we won the first hackathon of SAP using this solution. So that's
Wow.
what I said that it is on SAP's market site where you can look at this solution.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. The next thing is, I know you did mention that you had an analyzer tool set created earlier. If it is for the AI world, what will be your version 2 do? If you can share your product
Absolutely.
roadmap or whatever it is.
So I remember that I was in a customer meeting and in Frankfurt, and then the idea struck to me that it is time to create a tool which will analyze the functionality, analyze the data, and create a real, I would say, processes which are going to be there for a customer. So that's where I created a tool which was earlier named something called as a FUNDA, which is functional and data analyzer. Over a period it has gone through multiple iterations and then we continue to improve on that. But the tool which was developed earlier was again a rule based tool. We used to look at the configuration customization in the SAP. From that we used to lay out the process and then we used to look at the data, the transaction data, and then we used to correlate that and say this is what is the process and this is what the data says. And also we used to look at the what we called as a customization SAP, like user exits and so on and so forth, and try to relate that and try to find the vulnerability index. So all these were based on the knowledge of the people of the system. Today, if I have to do that, I don't think I will do in the same way. We have got now so much of data. Using that data, you can find the patterns, you can find the processes, you can find the, I would say, bottlenecks in the system, and then advise customers saying that this process needs to be, reimagined like this, or this process needs to be reinvented like this, and so on and so forth. So I will use the data which is there, will analyze the pattern. Looking at the pattern, we will to find out the vulnerabilities where the things will fail, and that model can be self-learning over a period and make sure that no, we can give insights to the customer that what's happening in their system.
Amazing, amazing. So that will be the next AI tool which will help the customers.
Absolutely.
Definitely, we should work on it.
Yeah.
The next question is one of the massive change which is coming because of the AI. What what should leaders do in the next 6 to 12 months? What is your thoughts on that?
So when it comes to AI, if you look at, the first thing is that it's not the technology which is not working, it's the people behind that. So first and foremost thing which comes to my mind is building AI first culture. Yeah. As I said, that strategy is useless if culture doesn't exist, right? And the tougher resistance often seen is in middle layer. They face customers, but they resist change. So win them over by enablement and recognition. That's what I would say, that build this AI first culture. The second thing is that no, some of those roles which you have developed earlier, redefine those roles so that there is a career path for every individual. So developer becomes code architect, SAP lead becomes AI product, FP&A leads becomes AI assisted planner, and so on and so forth. Third thing is the rebuild process. No, shorten the cycles, AI plus human get reviews, KPIs on exceptions. These will help actually to build what he called as the AI adoption in the organization, and it depends on the people. And if there is no AI first culture, everything will fail.
Well, very well said, Vineet. I definitely agree on the culture side, and also the renaming or renaming of titles in accordance with the AI way definitely will make a huge change. Coming to the next one, in terms of the next 5 years or 10 years, and especially 2030, where is our ERP headed, and what shaped your philosophy?
So I believe 2030, if ERP does not embed AI, those ERP will be laggards. So if vendors or the customers will look at that systems which are thinking, which are learning, rather than system of records. System of records is there, but this is what people will think. So my opinion is that in 2030, we should not lay AI on top of the current things and say that no, we are AI native ERP. It needs to be embedded into the process itself. So demand driven supply chain, exception driven operations where human is in the loop only in the edge case, open connectivity, agent to agent collaboration happening. That is the way I see that ERP will able to add value to the customer. And if personally, I think that no, if the OEMs are not inventing, the customer will reinvent using third party tools. So my philosophy is simple, right? Now that AI is here to actually enhance the usability of the ERP, moving the systems from system of records to system of reasoning to system of thinking to system of learning, and that will make transformation and better adoption. See, what is today's problem in ERP is also that adoption, right? Whenever you see, most of the time everybody will say that no, ERP is not adopted in the organization. It's okay, I fill in data, I get some output, but it is not helping me to do my business. With this change, which is no system of records to system of thinking to system of learning, the adoption will be much higher.
Actually, I wanted to bring one particular analogy with applications like Uber and real time applications, right? Even Airbnb, Uber, where you have real time. For example, if somebody calls a cab, Uber or Lyft, a lot of real time data are churned and given back to the customer, right? In a
Absolutely.
fraction of seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
They make the matchmaking, everything is real time, right? I feel ERP should be like that. Every ERP should be like that in terms of.
No, absolutely. I, I I think I think that ERPs need to evolve themselves. I would say that if they can't become Uber like real time sensing, but they can definitely become thinking systems, right? Now they can definitely give the signals where are the things going wrong, where are the issues happening, and they will able to, even if that is being done, probably we fine tune our rules in the system once in a week or no once in a month. That is okay for the enterprise grade systems.
Absolutely. So coming to the, I mean, yeah, we just wanted to go into the rapid fire round. I just wanted to, it's a short answer I expect from you. What one book or podcast you always recommend to colleagues or clients?
So book execution,
Execution.
because execution is a key. You can have vision, you can have a strategy, but if you don't have execution, nothing will happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any podcasts which you listen regularly?
So I listen to Kamat's podcast, which is I feel that it's great insight brings to the human life and so on and so forth.
Do you prefer early morning or late nights for your best work?
I avoid early morning because those are my exercise hours. So I believe that we need to exercise for 1 hour, and therefore late nights is okay for me.
Okay, okay. If not technology and AI, what field would you have pursued?
I would have pursued singing. I am not a great singer, but I love singing.
I didn't know that. Nice. Karaoke sessions and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I love karaoke sessions.
Nice, nice, nice. And what's one daily routine or habit that helps you stay effective?
So one is learning. I learn continuously. That's where I feel that, and I tell my son, daughters, don't leave learning. So learning keeps me update on my skills, what is happening. And I would say that unless you learn every day, I try to find that what I learned today at the end of the day. One thing which I learned is what I call it. I had a successful day or I had pathetic day. So successful day is one learning, pathetic day is no learning.
Oh, that's a great one. I mean, actually, I don't know whether you've read this book called Atomic Habit by James Clear. He basically says, I mean, every day if you do something different or learn one, even a small piece, I think that adds up cumulatively. And so, what's your go-to activity to relax outside of work?
Go-to activity to relax is watching good movies. That's one thing I do right now. I like watching good movies, watching, even listening some of those podcasts which are not technical podcasts, because that's
Okay.
relaxing. Yeah, so that's what I do.
That's great. That's fantastic. I mean, thanks for playing along, Vineet. It's great to see the personal side behind the professional capabilities of yours. And basically, this is actually wanted to wrap this podcast. If you are a bit-sized firm looking to scale ERP and with AI, here are the 4 starting points. One is automate high-impact, low-complexity process, leverage AI-driven insights from ERP data, integrate AI into your user experience. And the fourth one is, feel free to fix a 30-minute free call with our ERP advisory experts. We'll be more than happy to help. Coming back, I think to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment the BizTech Pulse podcast in your favorite platform. Every bit of feedback helps us bring you more conversation like this. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Spotify, and Apple platform for updates. And if your conversation with Vineet sparked new ideas or reflection, we would love to hear from you. Please drop a comment on the comment section. Thank you again for tuning in. Curious, stay innovative, and we will see you next time at BizTech Pulse. Thank you.
Thank you.